Libertarian candidate for president Gary Johnson had a town hall yesterday on CNN, and he weighed in on the war in Afghanistan.
Would have gone in after Osama bin Laden, and after 7 months, we defeated al-qaeda. We should have gotten out. We should have gotten out with the caveat that we'll come back if Osama bin Laden raises his head, and that I think we should get out of Afghanistan now. And as difficult as that will be, the consequences being, you could argue, will be horrible. Those same consequences are going to exist 20 years from now, if that's when we decide to get out, or for some that will just stay there forever.
So even if it means the Taliban coming back, you still say get out of Afghanistan?
Well, the Taliban is there, and I think we're kidding ourselves if we think that hanging around there forever, unless we plan to be there forever.
Okay. Thank you, Gary Johnson, for finally saying something that nobody ever dared to say in the political landscape in America in a position like you have. This is something that I've been arguing for the longest time with my fucking hair on fire, and the best we got from most Democrats was, Afghanistan. Afghanistan, we should draw it down. That's what we should do. Just vague, like, wouldn't it be great theoretically if we can philosophically maybe just take down the number of troops? Yeah, and that, yay, anti-war. That's the best we got from the Democrats. Here you have a guy who's like, yeah, how about we get out now? How about that? That wacky idea. So, he also goes on to say there he disagrees with regime change, and he thinks that, by and large, regime change has led to more problems than it's solved. Another area where Gary Johnson is 100% correct. And to be clear, this is the upside of libertarians. I agree almost 100% with libertarians on foreign policy, 100% with libertarians on social issues, including drug legalization. Obviously, we have some major differences on economic issues, but it's nice to have this kind of voice in the landscape because it's important. And again, very few people, maybe nobody, is making this case. So think about it. In Afghanistan, there are more Taliban now than there were when we invaded in 2001. So that's it. The war has been a failure. By any reasonable metric, it's a failure. Because your whole idea was, okay, first we got to get al-qaeda. Like Gary Johnson said, we got al-qaeda like that in Afghanistan. But then they just said, yeah, but while we're there, fuck these Taliban dudes too, because they kind of covered for al-Qaeda and gave them a place to stay. So we stayed there and we fought the Taliban. Now, if we were to win on that front, what would have happened? Fewer Taliban. Now, not only are there more Taliban people, they control a bigger portion of the country than they did when we invaded. I've never seen a bigger fail than that. I've never seen a bigger fail than that. So your idea hasn't worked. We've been at war there for 15 years. You're like, I swear, the 16th year, but maybe on the 17th or 18th, we're really going to have that breakthrough we've been waiting for. Totally. And then the other point is, whenever we leave, it's going to go to shit. If you rip off the Band-Aid now, it's going to go to shit. If you rip off the Band-Aid in 23 years, it's going to go to shit. If you rip off the Band-Aid in 100 years, it's going to go to shit. Why are you wasting U.S. lives and resources? We can't even get fucking clean water in Flint, and your dumbass has spent, and I'm not kidding about this number, $65 billion building up the Afghani military. We have homelessness, hundreds of thousands of people homeless in the United States of America. We don't have clean water. We have crumbling schools and crumbling infrastructure. Our infrastructure gets a grade of D from the Civil Society of Engineers. And what are we doing with our funds? I don't know, throw $65 billion into a black hole in Afghanistan to build up their shitty-ass military, and now the Taliban controls more of the country than they did when we went in. He's 100% right. Look, it's not going to work. Your war is not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. You're wasting money. You're wasting U.S. lives. Spend that money here. Rebuild our country. Do the right thing. We're under this illusion and we have the delusion that, oh, we're just going to make everything better. No, you're not going to make everything better. And oh yeah, a lot of people got rich off these wars too. I don't mean to get all conspiratorial on you, and I'm not saying this is the sole motivation behind doing what we do. But yes, a lot of people got very rich off this. Yes, Afghanistan has a lot of minerals. Yes, they have an opium crop. Yes, those things are factors. Again, not the sole factor, but a factor. Isn't it funny the main argument we use right now as to why we should stay in Afghanistan is, the Taliban, they're going to implement Sharia, and we need to protect human rights. So that's why we're there. Altruism. We care about the people. We can't have them living under Sharia. Funny, that's your take in Afghanistan. What's your take in Brunei? They just implemented Sharia in 2014. They're our ally. What did you do after they implemented Sharia? Invited them into the TPP so they can get more money and more resources. This isn't about altruism. This isn't about human rights. This is a misguided, stupid war. Get out today.